I'm glad that everybody's here. We have some exciting things to talk about in addition to the normal explanation of glutathione that I give and our technology. I was invited to address the International Medical Conference on Anti-Aging. And it was held in Mexico City. So my son Ryan and I went to Mexico City, and we had a chance to address about 250 doctors. We had an absolutely packed house, no seats available. And as you'll see in a minute, it changes to a wide shot where you can see the crowd. And it was amazing because every one of these doctors, because of the field they're in, the anti-aging field, we had plastic surgeons. Now here we're looking at booths. There were over 100 exhibits, and most of them didn't seem to be well attended. But by the time you turned the corner and saw our exhibit, the crowds never stopped. They were there, whether there was a session going on, a general session, workshops, it didn't matter. The crowds never stopped coming, and the doctors, clinics, there were skincare clinics, there were health clinics, there were wellness clinics, there were all sorts of representation, plastic surgeons, and they just mobbed our booth around the clock. And I felt bad for everybody else because there just wasn't the activity at the other exhibits that we got. But what had happened is I had a chance to address them first off Saturday morning, and then I did 3 workshops during the day. And it was truly amazing. First of all, realize every one of these doctors knew about glutathione. Every one of them that was there uses IV glutathione with their clients and patients. And yet, as I began to talk, I could see the surprise on their faces because there was a lot about glutathione they had never heard. And there was a lot about IV glutathione. For example, not one of them had ever heard that when you administer IV glutathione, that it doesn't go into your cells as glutathione. It goes into your blood as glutathione. But once it's in the blood, according to Stanford University and a scientist there, once it's in the blood breaks it down into the 3 amino acids, L-cysteine, glutamine, and glycine. And so what goes into the cells isn't the glutathione that you injected or infused. What goes in the cells is L-cysteine, the blood cells, the bloodstream is L-cysteine. Well, actually goes into the cells, L-cysteine, glycine, and glutamine. Then once it gets into the cells, it has to be reconstituted into glutathione, not an easy process. Also, what they didn't realize is that the half-life of glutathione, once it's in the cell, is only 90 minutes. That means it has a declining value like that. And so you get the big bang of an IV glutathione in the first 5 or 6 hours, and then it tails off pretty quickly. And by 24 to 48 hours, it's as if you never had the infusion. And at $200 to $600 per infusion, most people can't afford to have daily infusions of glutathione, which is what you would need to get that stability. And doctors didn't know that. They were amazed. That's one of the reasons they swamped our booth, was to sign up for what we had, and they did sign up. Over 100 signed up to carry our products in their clinics, to become NUMI distributors, to take advantage of our PRP professional resellers program. It was amazing. And the 3 days we were there, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they never stopped coming. We sold out a product on Saturday, and the people sponsoring it thought that they had plenty of product. They had 5 cases, and we had to wait a few hours for another 4 cases to be delivered. And then they sold out of that. It was amazing. And they learned a lot, and they were very grateful. In fact, the head of the conference, I mean, this is a multi-million-dollar conference, and the guy who brings it all about, and it's AMA sponsored, American Medical Association sponsored, the guy who is head of the whole thing became a NUMI distributor and signed up his clinics. So it was across the board, plastic surgeons and just estheticians, dermal therapists, skincare, and spas, they all were just overwhelmed by what we had, and we just couldn't get rid of the crowd. The crowd was always around our exhibit, even during general sessions when there was nobody out, about 100, 125 exhibits. There was nobody at anybody else's when sessions were in process, and yet they continually flooded our exhibit, and it was just amazing. In fact, we got invited to do another one in October in Mexico City. Same thing, anti-aging doctors, and this is a whole different group, and so we'll be there as well. So Mexico is going to go crazy. But now, in case you don't know what we have, let me give you what we have. First of all, let's talk about glutathione, your body's miracle molecule. Glutathione is produced by every cell in the body, and what it does, there's nothing else in the world that can do it. In most cases, you may have other antioxidants, but they're nowhere like glutathione, and we'll show you the difference in a few minutes. But glutathione performs over 400 functions in our bodies. 15 of those are critical to life. For example, did you know your body manufactures 9,000 peptides? They ultimately join together. Some join together and become bipeptides, tripeptides. Some become proteins that are the building blocks of life. It's an amazing system. Well, 3,000 of those, 1/3 of all the peptides that our body produces and processes, couldn't be produced or processed without glutathione. That's one function. One of the most critical functions, when your body manufactures hemoglobin, the red blood cells, the whole purpose of hemoglobin is to bind together with oxygen and deliver that oxygen to every cell, tissue, organ, muscle, joint, bone matter, everything throughout the entire body. Problem is, when hemoglobin is manufactured, it has the wrong charge, electromagnetic charge, so it cannot bind to oxygen. It's like trying to bring north poles of magnets together. We all learned in school that dog doesn't hunt. And so hemoglobin, in order to bind oxygen, has to be reduced to what's called a +2. Once that reduction takes place, it can bind oxygen and deliver oxygen throughout the body. Glutathione is the sole reduction agent of hemoglobin. So without glutathione, there'd be no oxygen transfer. You take that nice deep breath. Everybody try it now. Go, okay, there. I'm holding it in, but guess what? The oxygen won't go anywhere, no matter how many breaths I take, if it wasn't for glutathione. So that's critical. Take glutathione away, we're all dead from oxygen deprivation within a matter of minutes. That's one function. Another critical function, it is the sole protector of your immune system. We all learned in the last few years how important our immune system is in fighting off bacterial and viral invaders. And the immune system has to protect us. If it doesn't, we die or we get very, very sick. Well, guess what protects the immune system? Glutathione. Glutathione is the sole protector of the T cell and the B cell. Those are the two assassins that, when there's a bacterial or viral insult, reproduce and attack that bacteria or virus. Okay. Now, if you have low glutathione levels, the T cells and the B cells, they reproduce slowly while the bacteria or virus is reproducing rapidly. So guess who loses and guess who wins? Yeah, you're right. Well, if your glutathione levels are elevated, then the T cells and the B cells reproduce much more rapidly and they can get things under control. So glutathione is critical to our immune response. And there's over 169,000 published articles in PubMed on glutathione. And believe me, that's just at the very base. I was talking with a Harvard surgeon and doctor the other day. He's brilliant. He has 3 clinics. He no longer does surgery. He said, I got tired of reactive medicine and instead wanted to go into preventative medicine. So he's got 3 wellness centers, one in Palm Beach, one in New York City, and one in Martha's Vineyard. Guy's brilliant, has been around forever. And so he has always loved glutathione. And he too has used IV glutathione because it was the only kind of glutathione enhancement, he said, that he ever found that worked. Well, guess what? He got on our product, he got on our supplement, our nano glutathione, and he got on our spray, and he just bought $3,000 worth for his clinics, 2 cases, and just to get started. And man, what a feather in our cap to have him now as a NUMMI family member. You'll be hearing from him. Brilliant. He and I've spent hours on the phone together. So anyway,